Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. It's the weekend, which means one thing. Actually, this weekend it means a couple of things. It's a sunny day in London and everyone just feels, well, everyone just looks a lot happier. But it is time for that weekly news roundup. We will begin with FPGA gaming news, the MiSTer, the Analogue Pocket, and well, any other FPGA gaming news out there that's worth reporting. After that, we'll have a look at some random and retro gaming news. Before we go further in, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, then a subscription and a like is super duper appreciated. Tramp stamps, oops, did I say tramp stamps? No, timestamps have been made available, so use those to navigate your way around the video. And if you wish to further support the channel, then just liking and subscribing. I do have a Patreon set up. As well as that, don't forget to check out the sponsor of the weekly news video, MiSTer Add-ons, a awesome family run store that'll take care of all your MiSTer needs. And finally, before we begin, guys, don't forget to check out London's best arcade, Free Play City. Let's begin with this. CPS 3, the Capcom Play System 3. Matego, a while back, mentioned that he would like to start development on CPS3, and for a while there's been some radio silence. But what's really awesome is Matego recently on his Discord stated that this is one of the big systems that him and his team are targeting for the year 2025. Honestly, I keep saying 2025 is an awesome year. We've had a good year so far and it looks like it's only going to get better. This is definitely my most desired core. Anytime anyone asks me, Pixel, what core would you like to see? What's your biggest #1 want? It's always CPS3. For this game here, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I always mention it in my streams and I usually mention it in my videos. I got into FPGA gaming, or what made me buy it. The reason I bought myself a MiSTer and got into this whole thing was because I went to a friend's house. I played Super Street Fighter 2 on the MiSTer FPGA, the CPS2 core, and it's the only time it felt like the arcade version when I wasn't actually in the arcade or playing on arcade hardware around a friend's house. So I bought a MiSTer straight away. So this is something I'm so looking forward to, and it looks like 2025 is going to be the year of CPS3. Another game that Matego mentioned as one of the big releases for 2025 is this one here, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Turtles in Time, which is like a follow-up to the original TMNT arcade game. Guys, this is a fantastic game. I don't think I ever played this in the arcade. I played this on the SNES and yes, I liked it very much. So this is a welcome addition, something also I'm looking forward to. And we have like games that's already on this Konami hardware like Parodius Star and Sunset Riders, but there's other games on this hardware as well that come to mind like Surprise Attack. So definitely looking forward to this and other Konami games. But yeah, man, Cowabunga to 2025. Do you guys remember last week's episode, guys? We were talking about Rolling Thunder because we were looking at Matego's GitHub activity and we could see Rolling Thunder was mentioned a few times, so we kind of knew he was working on there. Well, guess what? A few days ago, Matego actually mentioned over on his Twitter account that Rolling Thunder is the next arcade game that the team will be visiting for the MiSTer FPGA and the Analogue Pocket. It's going to make a new JT core. All the devices are hooked up and it has entered the test and debug phase. So hopefully, don't quote me on this, but hopefully next Friday we'll be enjoying Rolling Thunder. Subject to change, but one can hope. The PlayStation 1, the PS1 or the PSX core, whatever way you want to call it, has received an update for the MiSTer FPGA. The original core developed by FPGA Atomspaz, or maybe you know him as Robert Pape, has had work done to it in this version by Zach from the MiSTer FPGA Discord. The core is actually available on the MiSTer FPGA Discord. I'll try and leave a link to it in the description. Just know that you will need to be a member of that server in order to access this core. But what is new about this core? Well, it has a brand new interlacing method which 100% makes every 480i game on the core look better. It gets very close to the quality of the motion adaptive de-interlacing you see in devices such as the Retro Tink 4K. So go and update to this version of the PlayStation core and just look at the change you get in the visuals. The Sega ST-V core for the MiSTer FPGA. Now, if you're wondering why the heck is Batman only kicking, because he also has a punch button, he has a jump button, but why is he only using kick? So previously in an older version of this core, the kick button wouldn't work. I mean, it works in the sense if you press punch and kick together to do a special, the special would come out, but Batman just couldn't kick independently, and it became a bit of a meme, a bit of a running joke over on the MiSTer FPGA Discord. So it's really nice to see that the kick button is working, and yes, I'm definitely overdoing the kick. I want to send a special thanks out to Anonymous as well, because it was his tweet that kind of brought this to my attention. I've been quite busy, so I did see some updates to the SEGA ST-V core, but I didn't try it out myself. Now, naturally, there's going to be other updates. This is just getting better and better. The games are getting more accurate. Any kind of bugs in there are getting squashed. SRG is always improving this core with updates, including like implementing a different kind of control scheme that would allow the kick button to work for Batman. I want to send a special thank you out to my buddy Anonymous, because he kind of put a tweet out highlighting how good the SEGA ST-V core is, and I was like, dude, can Batman kick here? And he was like, holy bangaroni pixel, he certainly can. Well, he didn't use those words, but that's what I heard. So I say it every time, play the ST-V core, it is fantastic. Play Batman, Batman is superb. It's one of the jankiest brawlers you'll ever play, and it is just amazing. And just like the SEGA ST-V core, the Sega Saturn core has received numerous updates, mainly addressing bug fixes and various other updates. In this part of the video, we're going to be talking about the SuperStation 1, and if you're unsure what the SuperStation 1 is, the three of you people that maybe haven't heard of it yet, it's an upcoming MiSTer FPGA project by Retro Remake, a company that Taki Udon is involved in, or he's one of the founders of the company, and it is based on the Sony PlayStation 1. What Taki goes on to say here is the system doesn't support all languages, so what he wants to do is he wants to add pictures on there for each system. So if you can't read the language, or your language isn't on there, hey, pictures paint 1,000 words, like they say, and you can go about it quite visually. What's interesting down here though, he's showing it off, and I guess with scan lines here, what it would look like on a CRT, and we can see he's flicking through some games there. I just kind of saw Sonic flash there, so that's interesting. I guess it's going to look nice on a CRT as well. Moving further down, where Taki speaks about the Super Dock here, where he says we changed the Super Dock connector to a 20-pin PCIe style interface. The bottom of the SuperStation 1 contains the female connector behind the latch. The dock is secured to SuperStation 1 via two long screws that go into threaded inserts on the bottom like a GB player. Remember the GB player for the Super Nintendo? I don't think I ever had one, or I never used one. I may have had one in my shop, but yeah, let's make these pictures a little bit bigger so you can have a look. So that's super interesting. Having a look at the final tweet here, it's a series of tweets. Taki here says, is it tweets or some blue sky? Post, whatever you want to call it, right? So Taki here says, the MD for SuperStation 1 has finished. We're now sending this out for a CNC sample before opening the mold. We are now using high gloss surface labels instead of silkscreen. The contrast works well with the shell texture we have on the top and the bottom shells, and here we go, we can see part of it over here. Kind of moving down to number 2 here, we added a GunCon port to the side for snack controllers. The name of this port will be further shortened to GC, and if I make the picture a little bit bigger, you can see this port here. It's going to go down from Con to GC. Okay, let's scroll down here. Okay, so we redesigned the back faceplate. Okay, so here we can see it over here. Again, looks very clean. Kind of looking forward to this. And number 4 here, we moved the Super Dock connector. Okay, we kind of covered that in the previous one. Number 5 here, this is really interesting here, guys. To further repairability, we designed modular dock connector, NFC reader, SD USB interface, and controller memory card module. Simply remove a few screws and detach the ribbon cable to swap in a new part if any of these fail. And I think this is a really good move, because let's say, for example, you get one, most of you guys are going to get it and are going to be super happy with it, but when products are going out on a large scale, there might be something that doesn't work. So let's say, for example, your NFC reader in there isn't working. You don't need to send your whole device back. Maybe as part of the guarantee, Taki can just send you out the part that's malfunctioning, and you can just replace it yourself if it's easy to replace, right? I'm not great at kind of doing hardware, but if the thought has been put in there that anyone can repair it and they've made it very easy, it's definitely more desirable, and I think this will end in a better user experience. Furthermore, further down the line, 6 months, a year down the line, if a part just fails because things like that happen, you can take that out and replace it. I definitely think that's a good move from Taki. And I think many people asked about the user interface and whether that will come to the MiSTer FPGA for like us general users, whether it's the MiSTer Pi or just our standard DE10 Nano that we got from Terasic or a different vendor. So kind of Taki here says if it's merged, nothing, as in if it's merged to MiSTer Main, you won't have to do anything. If it's not merged with MiSTer Main, this box art version would be a separate RBF that you can load. So there could be a separate version of the core that has all this artwork that you can load. I guess it remains to be seen. I don't know whether it'll get merged. I think it might be unlikely that it will, but hey, if it does, you know, you can have this artwork. If it doesn't, then there'll be a manual process, hopefully down the line, which can get you all the snazmataz. Two very, very talented individuals come together. They've definitely worked together before, but this one's really, really nice. So Anime Otaku here says, a little while ago, Clive Frog 2, that's Pixel Memories, and I collaborated on a new arcade stick. I had a few ideas in mind, and Clive Frog brought it to life, and then some. It's absolutely amazing, thanks mate. So that's the arcade stick there. I really like Anime Otaku and all the artwork he does and all the NFC stuff that he does regarding the Zaparoo project, but Pixel Memories is someone that really can bring these ideas to life. I always say I have an arcade stick that Pixel Memories made for me, a custom PCN one. I absolutely love it. And this is a guy that if you have an idea, no matter how weird, no matter how corny you think it is or how great you think it is, this guy can bring that idea to life. So if you want an arcade stick, a custom arcade stick with your favorite characters on there, this guy has got you covered. So maybe you want to check that out. But in the meantime, this one here from Anime Otaku, really good. It's got an NFC reader in there. You can run your Amiibo on there. You can whatever. You can put a card in there. You can put like a Game Boy themed NFC tokens in there. Love seeing this work. Just looks amazing. Update tool for the MiSTer FPGA, the script, at least like the favorite script. If you have one script on your MiSTer, likely that is it. It is amazing. So Jose BG, or you may know him as the Epsilon, he has now gone from 2.0 to 2.1 to 2.2. This new releases includes some nice additions, important fixes and speed improvements, and some contributions from Spark 2K06. We'll have a look at that in another tweet in a second. But if you want to find out more about it, there is a public Patreon post available where the Epsilon will talk more about it. But over here with contributions from Spark 2K06, I better know him as Heitor Gomez Garcia, and this tweet here from him says, thank you for your cooperation to the Epsilon. There is no longer any excuse to give my fork a chance. Okay, so good stuff. And I see what you did there, right? Robocop on screen, thank you for your cooperation. Well played. I thought this was an interesting tweet from David Shadoff regarding core compiles. Now, when a core is developed, in order for us to enjoy it on our platforms such as the MiSTer FPGA, it needs to be compiled into a .rbf. Those are the cores that we use. So what's interesting here is David says, for MiSTer developers looking to update an old computer to get faster compiles, here are my old new benchmarks, compiling the TurboGrafx 16 MiSTer core. Quite a bit faster, but not as much as I had hoped. And on the left hand side, he's got, well, we'll have a look at the two pictures in a second, but on the left, an i7 from 2017, or the i7700K from 2017. And on the right, the 9800 X3D from 2025 from this year. That's actually the processor I'm using on this computer that I'm filming on now. Should use it more for gaming, but I end up not gaming as much these days. So here we go. So on the 2017 i7 it was 1755, and on the 9800 X3D it was 1141. I guess it would have been nicer if it kind of was half or less, but it's a little bit over half. Still faster, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. This is definitely going to make some of you guys out there very, very happy. So Random Monk 3, who we know for his amazing work on the Analogizer, he actually has tweeted that he's going to go back to core development, or at least in this case, porting an existing core that he released for the MiSTer over to the Analog Pocket. The tweet here reads, I think after a very intense year with Analogizer, it's time to get back to basics. I'm porting the Xain'd Sleena core I published in 2022 for MiSTer to Pocket. It's also important to save comments like this in the core code itself. And if you want to pause it, see if you can find that comment in the core code. But great stuff. Xain'd Sleena interesting kind of game. I never played it in the arcade, but man, a lot of you people really like it, because I remember when I kind of covered it for the MiSTer, many of you guys kind of came forward and said, yeah man, you smashed that game in the arcade. People even said they could like 1cc it and whatnot. So guess what? Hopefully you'll be enjoying it on the Pocket soon. If you cast your mind back to last week, and even I think I did a dedicated video on it as well, and that's when Takiudan was speaking about the Agilex 5 and how he would like to kind of bring his take on there, bring a cheaper version of it. Now remember, everything on the Agilex 5, the original board, is an expensive board, but we may not need everything that is on that board. So Taki will likely strip off the components that aren't required and just make a cheaper board. He's kind of targeting a price of between $150 and $300. But what was interesting is there was a lot of chatter about it. When we look at Discord or whether we look at platforms such as X. Hatego here says, comparing Intel Agilex 5 with Cyclone 5 is like comparing a modern electric sports car to a reliable family sedan from a decade ago. And that's what Hatego got from ChatGPT. Interesting. We know that Agilex 5 is more powerful. It'll be interesting to see with developers like Hatego. I mean, Hatego's known for his arcade cores, so if Agilex 5 becomes a viable platform, and it'll be interesting to see like more powerful, newer arcade games hitting FPGA platforms. I know I always get a big list of systems you guys would love to see. Maybe Agilex 5 can bring this in the future. But what's interesting here, the original kind of tweet here from Takiudan, where he says he had a great meeting with them. Then he kind of talks about the logic elements, 138K to 656, and the pricing between 1.5 to 3 times the cost of a MiSTer Pi. But what's interesting here is from David Shadoff. If 656K logic elements grew the cost to just 3 times the cost of MiSTer Pi, that would be great. I was expecting a 10x based on Thoracic's board. Additional BRAM resources are precious and come along with logic elements. If you're designing such a board, multiple RAM buses on board would be helpful. And then Random Monk 3, the awesome developer behind the Analogizer and lots of cores for the MiSTer FPGA, as well as some ports over to the Analog Pocket. Using, he says, using a new FPGA generation also means faster designs, and bracketed their Fmax. David Shadoff goes off, continues and says, yes, of course, but the framework would still need to be ported, non-trivial. Current constraints are Fmax and fast memory, number of separate memory buses. More BRAM helps, but more memory buses would also be good. SRAM is preferable to SDRAM, but SDRAM has more capacity. And again further down, but in order to get to the point of a ported framework, huge effort is required from developers, so providing appropriate tools and resources started with embedded USB blaster is important. And Takiudan responds, it will have USB blasters. So guys, interesting, kind of looking forward to what happens when it happens with Agilex 5, when we kind of hit that next generation. And I think I said it in a I know I said it in a separate video. There's a kind of next generation race on. Will Takiudan release the Agilex 5? Will Replay 2 come out first? Will there be like another mystery project? Who will kind of get to that next gen? It's going to be very interesting. Naturally, I'll keep you guys posted. A cool tweet here from Nantamario. Nantamario is the developer that has brought the most number of cores over, ported the most number of cores over to the Tang series of FPGAs. And over here they say, looks like the Sega Master System core could be ready for TangConsole's release faster than I expected. Man, a whole bunch of cores are coming over to the Tang. Really looking forward to actually messing around with this at some point. But yeah man, Sega Master System, a welcome addition to the already number of cores that are available for the Tang. And as we talk about like the next generation of FPGA consoles, Ipeed that have released the Tang series of consoles, they're making a lot of headway, and this is really interesting here. So what they say in this tweet is, after the Tang Mega 50 to 200K logic elements, we are planning FPGA Tang larger series. Tang Ultra 200 to 1000K logic elements, Tang Extreme 1000K logic elements. Which LUT size and price range do you prefer? And over here, the Tang Ultra 210K for around $150. Then we've got the Tang Ultra 420K for around $200. I voted on the third option, which is Tang Ultra 640 to 300K. Wow, that's insane. And then Tang Extreme, which is $3,800K for $2,000. I mean, that would be out my range. I don't think I could justify spending up that much money on gaming, but man, it's interesting to see what the potential possibilities could be out there for FPGA devices that could be used for gaming, and potentially what the prices could be. If you want something interesting to watch this weekend, then you might want to watch this documentary from Slope's Game Room. It kind of goes through the whole Super Sega saga, or in this case the Super Sega scandal. It's very, very entertaining. It's like over 2 hours long, but honestly it's very, very entertaining. Grab some popcorn, watch this. It is amazing, and yeah, have some fun with Slope and Uncle Alejandro. Always like pointing out their work, but the game database have now began indexing the Super Nintendo, the Sega Neptune. So it was very, very interesting because it was like a custom board that was made, and then you would add components from the Sega Mega Drive as well as a 32X to kind of make your own Sega Neptune, the console that the Sega cancelled, but it was brought back to life via fans. Now, Anton Gale, a core developer that also dabbles in a lot of hardware projects, he put together a Sega Neptune, and he did mention that it was quite a difficult project. You would need some experience in order to execute it, to carry it out correctly. Maybe not the best first project to get into, but this is really interesting here from Consoles for You, where they say, I just put up a listing in the online shop so people can sign up for notifications once the board is available. The price is not yet final, but the goal is still $70 without taxes. So what this is a board with some extra components on there, so if you do want to build it yourself, some of the stuff is already done for you, and it will lessen the workload that you need to do. If you're interested in this, a link to this will be in the description of the video. As a kid that spent a lot of time in the arcades playing brawlers, I really did like beat 'em ups. We're talking like Final Fight, Gang Wars, Vendetta. There were so many to play in the arcade. So when I grew up, there weren't really too many brawlers coming out. Until recently, we got Streets of Rage 4, which is fantastic. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, absolutely love that game. Then there was that Power Rangers one recently. I never really played that, or I never got it because I never really watched Power Rangers. Then we've got a Toxic Avengers or Toxic Crusaders one coming out. But hey, this one here, I think it's called Cosmic Invasion. Man, this is like a Marvel brawler. And guys, it just looks superb. It's brought to you by the same people that brought you Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. And guys, it just looks wicked. I mean, look at the gameplay of that. Like, wow, look at Venom there. And the way all that stuff is popping out, man. Captain America, Wolverine, Storm. I think you've got Spider-Man in there as well. Guys, this just looks absolutely badass. I cannot wait for this. It just looks good. This is a day one purchase, and I love these beat 'em ups, and it's kind of like the game you would have wanted to see as a kid, and to some extent we did. There's a Spider-Man beat 'em up. There's like the X-Men beat 'em up that recently went as a public release for the Analogue Pocket and the MiSTer. But guys, this just looks banging. Really looking forward to it. And the guys behind here have done TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, so we know it's gonna be a banger. Nice to see Konami getting their finger out. They really need to get it all the way out because we need some new 2D Castlevanias, but hey, this will do for now. So this tweet here from Konami: Gradius Origins releases on the 7th of August 2025, featuring Salamander 3, an all-new entry to the series, plus 6 popular titles with a total of 17 different versions. Celebrate the series' upcoming 40th anniversary with Gradius Origins, and this just looks amazing. And the fact that we've got M2 that are behind this, you know it's gonna be quality. Really looking forward to this. I feel like this is gonna be one of my day one purchases as well. Just looks superb. Really looking forward to it, and I'm a big fan of these Konami shmups. Many of the horizontal ones, and some of them do go vertical, as I found out when I played some of them recently. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. I get really excited whenever RoboRa Digital post like a new video of this upcoming game on their account. Yeah, it looks really good. It kind of reminds me of a cross between Castlevania and Contra, but yeah, it just looks superb. 2025 not only is great for FPGA gaming, but we are getting a whole bunch of excellent 2D games. So you can wishlist this over on Steam if you like, but yeah, something I'm really looking forward to and something to keep on your radar. Exo Brave. Big fan of Robert Dale Smith's work. Really interesting stuff he does with controllers. Very innovative solutions and ideas this guy comes out with. But over here, the Dreamcast VMU Icon Maker is now an app and totally open source. So if you want to make icons that you can have on your VMU, you've still got your Dreamcast kicking about, then definitely check this out. Shane McCafferty, he is a developer that works on bringing new games to the Game Boy Color, and his latest work looks really good. So Hero GP is really close now, tweaking and adding finishing touches. It's really fast, and look at that, guys, that's a Game Boy Color game. It just looks superb, and wow, I kind of feel like it's going at like 1,000 miles an hour there, but it's probably around 220. Love this. So PC Wizard here. Also, thanks for the ping, Luck. Always appreciate when you guys ping me. Guys, if there's anything you want featured in the videos, ping me. Really do appreciate it. So, do you want a crazy taxi pointer? Do you have like a 3D printer? Because this is a must. I think like next time a buddy of mine does like some 3D prints for me, I'm going to say do this, because yeah, I want to stick this on my rear view mirror hanging down, because hey, you know what, it just looks great. So get yourself a crazy taxi pointer, and for extra bit of fun, always go in the direction it is pointing. So guys, that about wraps it up for this week. I really do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then a subscription and a like is always super duper appreciated. Be absolutely awesome to one another, guys. I'll see you around. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.